You want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points but bitch you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping then bitch you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these.
I guarantee you, any who will go to a pimp with no money, that same will also move in with a trick. That same will also get pregnant by a trick. That same will also turn the trick into her boyfriend and start handing her little money over to him. The same who will come to you with no money will do that as well. But that bitch that come to you with a fee, that bitch to say, you know what? Okay, his fee is $30,000. I'm finna run that up and I'm gonna run that to him. That bitch ain't finna go move in with no trick. That bitch ain't finna get pregnant by no trick. That bitch ain't finna turn a trick into her boyfriend and start handing him the money. A motherfucker who she met as a date. Now she handing him the money. She not finna do that. The only thing she wanna do with a trick is break his mother ass. You know, and again, this is somebody who recognizes and appreciates what a pimp has to offer. See, a hoe, she recognizes that money isn't the best thing that can be given to her. Wisdom, knowledge, game, understanding, respect, appreciation, those are some of the best things that can be given to a hoe. And those are the things that are only going to be given to her by a pimp. Because she understands that with these things given to her, ultimately, those things are going to boost her self-esteem and boost her as a woman and boost her as a hoe and make her a greater hoe. Enable her to touch greater dough. This is something that a pimp is going to do for you. This is something that the deal maker ain't going to do. The simp ain't going to do. The person who just, you know, claimed to be a pimp but got trick tactics, they not going to do that. And I'll tell you another thing too, right? Because like I said, there are so many, the majority of bitches in the game want a trick as they man. The majority of bitches in the game want to choose a trick and pay a trick and call a trick daddy. That's the majority of bitches in the game. But they think he a pimp because he say he a pimp. But they don't even identify pimps, recognize pimps, none of that. That's why so many bitches got this OBS, only syndrome shit. You know what I mean? Because they not getting pimped on. And they're denying themselves the opportunity to get pimped on, right? But the majority of bitches in the game, whether they realize it or not, they say they want something, but when you break down what it is that they go for and what it is they seek out and what it is that they align themselves with, when you break it down, the title, what a motherfucker call themselves, when you break the shit down and look at all the different aspects of it, it's ultimately a trick that they want, right? This is the majority of bitches that sell pussy. So with that being the case, you got some cold pimps out here right now, right? That have done some great things in the game. You got some cold pimps that have got it all and lost it all as far as materials go. But guess what they didn't lose though? The source of it. The source that created the shit, which is the pimping within, right? So because they didn't lose that, guess what? They could take some hoes and build it again. And this time, they're going to build it even greater than they did before, because this time, there's certain things that they don't have to learn this time that they learned from the last time when they lost everything, right? So right now, some of the greatest pimps that ever pimped are leaking right now. I ain't gonna say no names, but hey, I know some legendary pimps who done did some legendary things in this game that are leaking right now. Or they got a that they struggling with right now, which is crazy. But I understand it though, because it's like, shit, you gotta f with somebody to stay afloat. But the majority of bitches will look at somebody like that and they judging them based on what they see right now. They judging them based on what they see on the surface. Right? But so with that being the case, they choosing situations and not pimps. Because it could be a pimp with the coldest game, like he might be leaking right now. He might be sleeping on his partner's couch. He might be sleeping in his car. He might be sleeping at the Greyhound station. But he done had mansion homes in Miami. He done had mansion homes in Texas. He done had mansion homes in California and Vegas. He done checked millions out of. But shit happens. He might have went to prison and lost everything and got out and now he ain't got shit. You know what I mean? He might have went through some other type of situation to where he lost everything, right? But he still got the pimping in him to create all that shit all over again, right? But shit just ain't falling his way right now. And will overlook him because he don't have a bust down watch on. He don't live in a 5-bedroom house right now, and he ain't driving foreign cars, and he ain't got just doing the same shit, right? That's why I said most of these that sell pussy, they only attracted to tricks. They call themselves pimps. And they're lazy. They don't want to hoe up for shit no more. See, with a real hoe, right? And I don't want to say used to because it just used to be more common. But it still applies to today for a real hoe. Right? But a real hoe, which is far and few in between in today's times, but they still walking around. They still exist. A real hoe can see a pimp that's leaking. Can see a pimp, you know what I mean, sleeping on his partner's couch. A real hoe can see a pimp sleeping in his car. A real hoe can see a pimp sleeping at the Greyhound station or whatever the case may be, right? And identify the pimping in him. And appreciate the pimping in him. Choose his pimping and build with him. Because that's the only thing she attracted to. Yeah, she see Max such and such over here. He got the big house. He got all the bitches and they all riding good and looking good and all that other type of shit. But guess what? Max such and such with all the jewelry and all the money and all the cars and all that other type of shit, he got in her DM and was just trying to fuck. He got in her DM and said, "Let me fly you out." She was thinking about fucking with him too. She got 20 bands and she ready to hand it over to him. This is a real hoe. She got 20 bands. She ready to hand it over to Max such and such. She seen his Instagram and she like, damn, Max such and such doing it big. Everybody respect Max such and such. Everybody got nothing but good shit to say about Max such and such. But Max such and such got in her DM and said, "Let me fly you out." Didn't ask her for no money. Max such and such in the DM trying to talking about. He ain't talking about no pimping. A real hoe is gonna be turned off by that. The whole situation that looked good that he got going on is gonna vanish in her mind. And all she gonna be able to say to herself is like, damn, Max such and such is a trick. She's sitting there with this 20 bands like, I can get Max such and such to double this. If he's willing to fly me out, if all he talking about in the DM is and he knows I'm a hoe, I can break his ass. Because he ain't trying to get me with pimping. He trying to get me with trick tactics. I can break him. I see he got money. Shit, yesterday on his story, he counted 20,000. Yesterday, a couple months ago in his story, he counted 100,000. And I see the type of he got, so I know he getting money. But he didn't even pimp at me. When we talked in the DM, he just said, let me fly you out. Ooh, I can't wait to Max such and such is finna double this 20,000. And guess what? After he doubled his 20,000, it turned his 20 into 40,000. I'm gonna go choose pimping over here. This on his partner's couch. This sleeping in his car that I seen at the Greyhound. You know what I mean? I'm finna go choose him because guess what? I know all he needs is a real hoe in his life. And it's gonna change everything for the better for both of us. Yeah, because I heard him speak and I know he got hella game. He just in a fucked up situation right now. I talked to some of his ex-hoes. One of his ex-hoes got a business over here and she got perfect credit and all this, that, and the third. And you know what I mean? She just retired from the game because she a family, she a mother now with a family and she retired from the game. But pimping is over here sleeping on his couch. You know what I mean? She look out for him sometimes, but she really ain't got it like she used to as a hoe. But the game that he gave her, she over here running the business and taking care of herself and her family right now. You know what I mean? Then I talked to one of his other ex-hoes. You know, she doing her thing. You know what I mean? She done changed her life around, but she's still living off the game that he gave her too. He just need a good hoe. He's still a good pimp. He ain't on drugs like Max such and such. He don't be sipping lean like Max such and such. He eat healthy. He's a vegan, unlike Max such and such. You know what I mean? He don't get drunk all the time at the club. He ain't making it rain on bitches like Max such and such. You know, them hoes, them ex-hoes of his that I was talking to, they ain't never said nothing about him making it rain on a bitch or tricking on a bitch or flying a bitch out for free. His bitch over here that's running the business, you know what I mean, taking care of her family, she chose him with 50,000. The other bitch over here that changed her life around and still living off the game that he gave her, she chose him with 70,000. So he charging for show. That's who I'm finna go get his 40,000 to. Cause I know I can build with him. I know this shit happen in the game and pimps that really pimp go through ups, downs, and turnarounds. We finna turn it around and go up. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what a real hoe gonna do. You know what I mean? That's what a real hoe gonna do. Cause a real hoe, she's not mystified and mesmerized by trick tactics, shit that just look good. See, with a lot of people in the game, if it sings or it blings, we swing. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of these trick tactics to these hoes, it sings and it blings, so they swing, they go for it. But a real hoe ain't gonna be, you know, she's not gonna be attracted to that. She's not even interested in that. She wanna get pimped on. She wants somebody that's gonna put some pressure on her motherfucking ass and turn her into the diamond that she's meant to be.
Dig this.
Yeah.
I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Hey, yeah, where you been?